Hi guys. So yeah, I was originally penciled in for the event in March. Looking forward to meeting everyone. Obviously, the world has changed a lot since then. I wasn't available for the new date on the 8th, so I've pre-recorded the video. So apologies that it's not live. I'm not sure. Maybe I've had a big introduction already. But on the basis that I haven't done, my name's Chris from Molesey. We're a full service Amazon agency. It's been going for about 3.5 years. I'll tell you a little bit about Molesey, and I guess more than anything why it's relevant, because I guess you're not here for a sales pitch, I assume. But yeah, but my talk is going to be a bit about different ways that we can use data to influence like maybe little changes or big changes on Amazon. Maybe it's about increasing the sales or making ourselves more efficient. And I guess we've kind of scaled up our business from a team of 2 or 3 people 3 years ago. We've got 60 people, something like that at the moment. And crucially, the team is spread across the world to take advantage of local knowledge, time zones, etc. And I guess anyone that's grown a business knows that that's pretty demanding in itself. But then to add in the complication of Amazon, which I assume anyone that's tuning in today is in the same boat. It's anything you can do to automate or speed up or give yourself some kind of advantage is a benefit. So we work with brands all the way from kind of Kickstarter, 2 or 3 people in the company, all the way up to the biggest global brands on Amazon. So we've got really good experience of Seller Central, Vendor Central, and pretty much anything that can go wrong with those things in between, and hopefully all the things that can go right as well. So yeah, as you can see on this slide, the company started in the UK. We've got an office in Spain where we've got a small team mainly focused on language skills, because that's obviously very important with Amazon. Same with the Netherlands. We've got a team in Hong Kong who are close to the ground with the factories in China, understanding new trends, understanding supply chain issues, capacity problems with factories. Next week or the week after, we open an office in Brazil, huge growing e-commerce market where Amazon's not the dominant player at the moment, but we see huge opportunity to build a team there, and also support our existing clients with Amazon Brazil. And then the start of next year, opening up in Japan and Singapore, again, just capitalizing on the global opportunity with Amazon, but really understanding that in order to capitalize on it, you really need people that understand the local market. Even though the Seller Central, Vendor Central platforms are the same, the way that customers buy products is very, very different. So yeah, my assumption is that the audience is very split between, all the way from the smallest sellers, or maybe even people that are thinking about starting to sell on Amazon, all the way up to larger vendors who've got probably very different challenges on a day-to-day basis. So when I was thinking about ways to use data to influence Amazon to get an advantage, it was a little bit hard to kind of land on something that would have universal appeal. And so instead, I've just picked a handful of things that might be interesting. None of it's groundbreaking, and I think that's the purpose really of my talk today. It's possible to buy super expensive software, incredibly clever software that can do a lot of these things automatically, but that's not necessarily affordable for everyone. And sometimes, software can't do things as well as a human being can. And it's about finding ways to know what you're looking for. And that's certainly with clients that we've worked with, almost too much data is a negative. People really just want to know what's this data telling me? What's the action point? What's the insight where I can gain an advantage over my competitors? So hopefully you'll find some of these ideas interesting. Day parting is a really important one, as much as anything, because it can save you a lot of money. And this really applies all the way down from someone starting from their bedroom on Amazon all the way up to someone spending millions of pounds a month. Day parting really is the process of, instead of just optimizing your advertising campaigns, to run efficiently over the course of a day or a week or a month, it's actually looking into the intricate detail of within a day or a week, are there certain times when customers are most likely to shop? Because for certain product categories, it's actually quite eye-opening how different consumers shop, and certain advertising softwares can do this automatically, or they can give you insights based off advertising data, but that's obviously not taking into account all sales. And whenever I try and use Amazon data to plan something, I'll try and base it off total sales rather than just advertising sales, because ultimately that's the number that matters. Everyone wants to drive their total sales, and if anything, wants to reduce the reliance on the advertising aspect. So day parting really is the process of changing your bidding decisions, changing your bid values throughout a day or throughout the week, to really try and maximize the budget that you've got, so that you're winning bids at the right time. A nice little visual example of what I've just said there. And how can we get the data? Because obviously we can spend a lot of money for an advanced advertising software solution, and for some companies that's the best thing to do. And definitely, if you're operating hundreds of campaigns across thousands of ASINs, you're going to need some kind of software solution that actually implements these bids. Once you've decided, I'm going to focus my advertising on a Tuesday at 4 p.m. If you're running hundreds of advertising campaigns, you're not going to want to be logging in throughout the day and throughout the week making bid adjustments. So that's where the advertising software is really, really useful, because you can set rules where you can actually automate some of those bid adjustments. But if you've only got a handful of campaigns and a few products, you can use this same data to whatever level of granularity that you want. You can decide, I get better conversion on a Monday and not on a Tuesday, and just make changes to your campaigns manually on a daily level, or you can choose to maybe just switch them on manually at 7 a.m. if you think that's the best time. So basically, by looking at either order reports from Seller Central or the real-time sales report in Brand Analytics on Vendor Central, you can get a pretty good idea of the day of the week and the time of the day that your customers are buying products. And on our particular tool, but this could be very easily done in Excel as well. You can quickly get a visualization of for my brand or my ASIN, what's the breakdown of orders during the day, and what's the breakdown over the course of the week. So this example I pulled up because it's quite unusual. In most instances, you'll get in the early hours of the morning, probably like midnight through to 6 a.m., very, very low levels of sales. And the problem there is that when everyone's budget runs out throughout the day on sponsored ads, and your campaigns are paused, everyone comes back into the bidding war at like 1 second past midnight the following day. So your campaigns are live at a time when people really aren't buying the product. So with day parting, if you can visualize using the data that you're not getting, on average, not getting sales during that period of time, then you can choose to really reduce the bid levels that you're offering during that time, and save the budget for different times of the day when you're going to get better conversion. Same with day of the week. This particular example we're looking at here is a brand of baby products. So that's one of the few product categories on Amazon that does well in the middle of the night, and anyone that's got young children will understand why. Desperation, time on your hands, etc. At those times where you just desperately need something that you realise you don't have delivered quickly, and Amazon's the right place for that. So usually you won't see that kind of spike in the early hours for this particular baby brand. They get really good traction at that time of day. But you can see, like on a Monday, they have phenomenal sales, and it kind of reduces as the week goes along. So So you would probably want to focus the majority of your budget on a weekly basis on a Monday, because you're going to get better conversion and better sales. We see, like with a brand of laptops, for example, that we manage, almost no conversion, almost no sales over a weekend, because in general, people buying laptops are buying them for a B2B purpose, and therefore the vast majority of sales are coming within working hours during the week. So that's just a way, if you're starting out, you've got a small number of campaigns and products, it's probably quite an easy thing to manage yourself on an Excel sheet or an Access database. But of course, there are tools that can start to automate this process for you. The other thing to consider with Seller Central, if you're looking to expand into new markets, and that's obviously a key growth opportunity, because it's just adding extra countries, more people that are looking at the pages, and more people that are wanting to buy products. Amazon makes it incredibly easy to expand into other territories, but there's obviously considerations that you need to make as a business. Are you willing to invest in extra marketing spend into that new market? You're going to have to start thinking about, can you file VAT returns? You're going to have to pay for a company to do that. Can you do it internally? Any additional fulfillment fees? Maybe you have to change the packaging or have different support set up. So global expansion, even though Amazon makes it easy for their part, it's still a consideration for business, and ideally you want to be putting a lot of research into seeing like which country the biggest opportunity lies before you make the step. And there's different ways you can do that. You can use again on brand analytics to review the search frequencies in those countries. You can use external tools that will give you that kind of information. But if you're doing some good volume at the moment on Seller Central, there's also quite a nice way that you can give yourself at least a guide as to which country you should be focusing on more. So again, with Seller Central, we'll look at the order data. You can download the order reports, and obviously for each order, it's got the country of delivery. Like real simple table, you can just a pivot table you can just create. This particular brand, clearly the UK is the market that they're focused on, generating £2 million through Amazon UK. But what we can see here is on the left-hand column, this is confirming that all of these sales are being shipped from Amazon UK and purchased from Amazon UK. And the numbers on the far right are showing the revenue per country where they're actually being delivered. So if this brand was looking at a new market to launch in, if you're only dealing in the UK, the most obvious next market might be Germany because of the size of it in comparison to the UK. But we can see here on a relatively level playing field, because we're only advertising on Amazon UK and selling on Amazon UK. We can actually see in Spain, they're getting more sales than Germany. In France, they're getting more sales than Germany. So this might suggest to the brand that the biggest organic demand for their product is coming from Spain. It's a less competitive market to launch in, therefore less expensive for advertising. The overall opportunity is smaller, but they might use this data and decide that that's giving them the insight they need in how to prioritize the different countries that they launch in. Moving to Vendor Central, anyone that's working with brand analytics on Vendor Central has probably known longer than people that aren't using Vendor Central how long the date for Prime Day. And there's quite an easy way using Vendor Central to check when these kind of top secret promotional periods are coming, and also aside from promotion periods like Prime Day, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, really just to see if there's any planned activity by Amazon for one of your products that you're maybe not as aware of. So if we look at the forecast section of the ARA reports or brand analytics reports for this particular brand, it's always easier to see any spikes if we increase to the P90 forecast that gives the most, shall we say, most optimistic or most extreme forecast that the Amazon algorithm is seeing. And in this particular example, for the last few weeks, on all of our brands. We've been able to see this particular spike at the point where everyone was questioning, is there going to be a Prime Day? What's going to be the date? This is just quite a good way of quickly checking on the assumption Amazon assumes there's going to be an increase in sales during that period. It's quite an easy way to spot those kind of peaks. And similarly with Black Friday, Cyber Monday promotion periods, they obviously last so long now that it's not a case of, oh, I'm running promotions and they will be on Black Friday. So this is also a good way to spot maybe any peaks that give an indication as to whether you're going to be on the day itself, maybe the week before or the week after. So again, not groundbreaking, but just always a good place to check into every couple of weeks, just to see if Amazon's planning anything that you're not necessarily expecting. And customer demographics, anyone that's running Vendor Central accounts in the US at the moment will have noticed additional information that Amazon's starting to give us. It's probably best not to think about where they're getting the information from and how much they know about us, but I'm sure we can all find a way to use it to our advantage. But yeah, the customer demographics, which again sits within brand analytics on Vendor Central, is starting to report now on a brand and ASIN level information like the split of sales by gender, by age. They're also including education level, marital status, household income. Pretty scary stuff when you think about it, but also really valuable from a marketing perspective. Like how are we going to optimize the content? If for this particular brand that we're looking at here, we can actually see that the vast majority of their customers are actually, say, 45 plus. So maybe that influences how we want to optimize the content. Maybe it influences the kind of imagery we want to use, because we know the average age or the bulk of the sales are coming from a specific age group. Same with advertising targeting. If we know that it's a customer that's buying the product, there's probably different keywords that we should be targeting. Christmas gifts for men, presents for my husband, whatever it is. If we know that the bulk of the sales are going through a specific gender, then we can influence the advertising strategy. In terms of pricing strategy, promotional plan, we're getting insight into household income, the brackets for different products and different brands, so we can see, is how price sensitive is our brand, how price sensitive is a product. If the majority of the sales are coming from the highest income bracket, then probably discounting isn't necessarily the best strategy. It's more about really optimizing that content and selling the value features rather than just this is price driven sale. So yeah, lots of things that we can use this information for now. It'll be interesting if this information gets rolled out into other markets. I guess in Europe there's different regulations around data protection, so wherever they're getting this data from in the US maybe isn't going to be possible in Europe, but certainly for our US clients and anyone that's operating Amazon businesses in the US, this is definitely something to jump on and start seeing how it can influence your decision making. And then the last thing I'm going to cover is, like, everyone obviously wants to know, are their sales going up or down? But always the next question after that is that good or bad? Are we growing faster than our competitors? Are we growing, is the category declining but we're growing? And that's super important information to know. And again, there's lots of tools that you can buy that will give you like incredible levels of detail of that information. But I guess, is there a way of getting that same information, or certainly a guide of that information, to be able to report it internally and spot any issues? And there is, and it's pretty easy. It just requires a bit of data fetching on a weekly basis and recording it somewhere in a basic database or an Excel sheet. Of course, we're all recording our weekly sales, and that's an easy one that we can get out of Vendor or Seller Central. If we also record the sales rank for our products in the various different categories, both the parent category like health and personal care that we see here, but also the subcategories, as long as we record that sales rank every week, then it's pretty easy to plot on a graph weekly sales versus sales rank for each of the categories. And you can tell if your sales, for example, your sales might be going down over a period of time, but your sales rank's improving, then you can be confident that it's bad news that my sales going down, but actually the category is growing, it is declining faster than I am. I'm actually gaining share within the category. So hopefully that when the category picks up, then I can really benefit. And similarly, if your sales are going through the roof, but actually your sales rank's getting worse, then maybe we need to actually be focusing like more ad spend on this category. Is this something we need to look at on a promotional basis, a price basis? Because even though through the roof and we're all high-fiving, there's actually more opportunity for us because the category in general is growing faster than we are. So that's my handful of things that hopefully are useful and interesting to most vendor and sellers. Like I say, it's not nothing that's going to change the world, but hopefully they're things that can, even if you do them, once a month, once a quarter, it can give you just those little insights. And with Amazon, little tweaks can have a big impact when it comes to revenue and profit. So yeah, I hope that's been useful. Any questions or follow up or thoughts or comments? We're always super active on LinkedIn. We would love to connect, and we're always sharing content and examples of work we've done from our Molesy page. So it'd be great to connect on LinkedIn. And yeah, thank you for listening.